we are going to be exploring perimeter and area of rectangles and squares. The perimeter is the distance around an object. So these red lines down here, these red segments, they represent and they are the perimeter of this rectangle. So the distance around this object is 18 units. There are two sides of 6 units, these longer sides here on the top and bottom. And there are two sides with a length of 3 units on the sides here, these shorter sides. We can add up all those values to get the perimeter. So 6 plus 6 is 12, 3 plus 3 is 6, and 12 plus 6 is 18. We can say the perimeter of an object is the length, these tops and bottoms, the two lengths, so length plus width plus width. We can also say that the perimeter of an object is 2 times the length and 2 times the width, where L is the length and W is the width. So this would be the width of the rectangle, and there are 2 equal segments here. The measures are the same. That's why we can say 2 times instead of just adding them together. And as you can see, we get the same answer. 2 times 3 is 6 units, 2 times 6 is 12 units, and 6 units plus 12 units equals 18 units, which is the perimeter of this rectangle. So now I want you to pause this tutorial and practice finding the perimeters of these rectangles. There's no measures on them, but these little squares represent 1, so this side of this square would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the length of this side is 6 units. So go ahead and practice finding these perimeters of these rectangles. Pause and take as long as you like. You can resume whenever you have finished. So these are the answers to the perimeter. For this square, we had 2 sides with a length of 6. You can add up the sides, or you can use the formula, and we get the same answer, as you can see in all of these cases here. So now for some more practice, I want you to complete the rectangle perimeter worksheet that you have. And once you're done with the worksheet, you can move on with this lesson. Now we're going to talk about area. And area is the space inside of an object. If I go back to the title slide here, we can see that perimeter is around this object here, the rectangle. This same rectangle, it's the same size, the inside is the area, and the outside is the perimeter. So now that we're talking about area, and the space is the space inside of an object, we're going to use the unit square to start on the grid to find the areas of squares and rectangles. The unit square is this little square here, so this is a unit square. This 1, 2 is a unit square, 3 is a unit square. All these shapes are different, but they have the same area, and a shape doesn't need to have the same perimeter and the same area. For example, this square here, it has an area of 9, but the perimeter is 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. So the perimeter is 12, even though the area is 9. So now we're going to count the unit squares inside of this rectangle to find its area. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So there are 18 unit squares inside the rectangle. That means the area of the rectangle is 18. So now I want you to pause this lesson and find the areas of these rectangles by counting the squares. We've already found the perimeters of these rectangles earlier in this lesson, and now I want you to find the areas. Take as long as you'd like, just like last time. You can resume the lesson when you have finished. So by counting the unit squares, we can see there's 36 squares inside of here, so the area is 36. There's 5 in here, So the area is 5, and there are 12 squares in this rectangle, and that makes its area 12. So now I want you to complete the area and perimeter worksheet for more practice to find the areas of squares and rectangles. So once you've completed the area worksheet, you can move on. Now that we've talked about area with the unit square, we're going to talk about area with multiplication. So there's a formula to find the area without having to count all these squares inside of here. And so this square has a length of 6 and a width of 6. Instead of counting all these squares, we can multiply to find the area. And this works. There are 6 unit squares here. This length is 6. So I've grouped them all together, so this is one group of 6 units. And we have 6 of them because we go down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can get rid of these squares. You have 6 times 6 is 36. So now for some more practice, I want you guys to take as much time as you need and practice using the formula with multiplication for these rectangles. So this rectangle has a length and a width of 6 and 4. 6 times 4 is 24. The area of this rectangle is 24. The length and width of this rectangle is 3 and 4, so the area is 12. And the length and width of this rectangle is 5 and 1, and so the area, 5 times 1, is 5. So, as a review for area and perimeter, I want you guys to use the combined worksheet, complete that, and when you're finished, we can move on to our next topic.